All right, everybody. Today I'm here with friend of the show, Geek Culture, who has been on plenty of times, but today he has brought information to share about everyone's least favorite Blue Ranger, Blake Foster. So, how are you?
Doing all right. It's good to be here. This has been quite the journey.
It has been, and it has been brewing for at least a month. How did you
Yep.
first meet Blake Foster?
Well, we've met a few times through conventions and stuff. Like I was on the elevator with him a couple years ago at Ranger Stop when he forgot his joint in the hotel room, and so we met in passing that way. The first time I met him was in 2010 at Power Morphicon, but on a personal level, wasn't until a convention in Louisiana, August. Early August. I can't remember the exact dates right off the top of my head.
Okay.
And
And
and I was asked to be his ride.
oh, okay. So you were his ride.
Yep.
What was that like?
Well, it started out. He texted me when I was on my way over there, and asked if I could take him to the venue because he wanted to get his stuff set up, and he got in a day early, and so he wanted to get his stuff at his table and everything. So I'm like, okay, that's no problem. It's only like an hour drive for me, so I
Okay.
got there a little early and got checked into my hotel room, and that's when kind of all of our adventure started.
Now, yeah, I believe you told me on the phone you guys went out. Y'all had like dinner or something, and what was?
Yeah, we went out. We went to the venue when I first got in. I and then from there he said he wanted to grab a light snack and maybe a beer.
Okay.
And I'm not a drinker, but I'm his ride, so if that's what he wants to do, that's cool. He seems pretty cool. We go in this little kind of a off the beaten path restaurant that's there in New Orleans area,
Uh huh.
and he places an order for a couple appetizers and a chicken wrap and then a mixed drink of some sort. I think it had Crown in it. I'm not 100% positive. I
Yeah.
know he asked about Crown, and they had something. One of the things he wanted they didn't have, but he ended up figuring out something he wanted.
Okay.
And because we were supposed to go out later that night with some of the people from the convention promoters and stuff like that. So he said he was going light.
He's going like. Now he
Yeah.
ended up divulging his thoughts about some of the Power Rangers, but before he did he ask you if you were recording or anything like
Well,
that?
yeah, that's where it got weird. We were just casually having a conversation, talking about you. Actually, he brought you up and said that this guy's trying to bash him to all the fans and stuff. I'm betting he probably knew that I had been on your show.
Okay.
So I'm betting that. But then as he's doing that, he's drinking more and more and more, and I could tell he was a little off. And then he looks my phone because since I'm using my wheelchair, even though at that time I was sitting on the bar stool, I keep my phone in my shirt pocket just because it's easier to carry that way. Well, I did have the camera facing outwards. I I didn't even think about it because we were just going out to eat, and he looks at it and he goes, "Is this recording?" And reaches towards my phone, and I was like, "No, see," and I showed him the screen that it's not recording. When it is recording, there's a light on by the thing that you can see. So yeah, it wasn't, but it's like he's like, "Okay, good."
Okay. So now that he confirms you're not recording him, then what happens?
That's when it got really bizarre. He starts telling me about all he's been through with all these people. And first, it was how Kat and Nakia and them were copying his morpher idea. So they're ripping him off, so he's losing money when it was his idea.
Yeah, they do sell the same morpher he does, but I believe at a much lower price.
Right,
But he also said like publicly they're like his big sisters. What do you make of
right.
that?
And, well, he did that about another actor too,
Oh, who was that?
and that's where it really started to irritate me was JDF.
Okay. What did he
One
say
minute
about? Go
he
ahead.
is saying that he was a big brother to him and he helped him get on the show because he showed up there with a bunch of people when he was filming something else, and I can't remember if it was Shuki Levy, somebody from the team brought him over to the set and had seen him doing martial arts, and so he brought JDF over and they were close. Well, then it goes into this whole statement. Well, he wasn't what everybody thinks he was. I love him like a brother, but he's really done me dirty. He first promised me this shirt deal, and then at the last minute he screws me over backing out on that. Then he promised me a bunch of convention bookings. He's like he I was giving me a whole chain of Comic Cons, and then I was on my way to the airport just about, and he blocked me from them. Told them all to bail on me,
Really? Now we came
and
across a fan who said they had a t-shirt deal. Blake said he had a t-shirt deal.
right.
And
Well,
Blake, go ahead. I'll let you say it.
later on at another thing, he ended up saying that was all AI. That nobody ever said that. But with this one, he just kept going on that. Well, then he went to JDF, would beat him up on set, like so bad his dad had to step up and intervene on his behalf because here he was just a kid and JDF was just a full grown man beating on his kid.
Yeah. That's an interesting
Eh,
story because he always like oh JDF was like a brother. Anytime JDF passed, he dedicates a post to him,
right.
things like that, which is I believe a little bit I think he's just trying to save face and garner whatever fans he can from reposting JDF.
Yep.
Oh,
And so he went from that to when he had the fight with Michael Lansky. He
okay.
said JDF, basically got high and bashed him publicly and privately and told him he didn't stand a chance and he wasn't supporting him at all. Well, then when he ended up winning that fight with Michael Lansky, that JDF ended up giving him on top of the money that was promised for the fight, ended up giving him like I can't remember if it was $2,000 extra to make 4,000 total or 4,000 extra. As an apology.
Okay, so JDF gave him some money after he won his
Yeah,
fight. Okay.
yeah, which he was supposed to give some money before the fight. That was the winner was supposed to get it, but he made it a big deal of JDF as paid it out of his own pocket as an apology instead of just for the fight.
Okay. All right. That's actually interesting. Um, that you say he gave him the money after the fight
Right,
because Blake Foster, JDF also accused Blake Foster of having a relationship with Sky Frank. So
right.
did you ever talk about this to him?
Well, during that time too, he ended up saying how nasty Sky Frank was,
Wow.
and that she was a scammer, and he knew about her scamming with autographs and all that stuff, and what Jacob Frank was. And
Wait. What did he say about Jacob Frank?
I had said something to do him about him, being on the offenders list,
Uh huh.
and he's like, "Oh yeah, he's just nasty too," and he just kind of skimmed on that.
Oh wow. So he said privately to you that Sky Frank was nasty
Yes, absolutely, and a scammer.
and a scammer. Wow. Did he ever say anything publicly about her? I imagine publicly he would never say that.
Yeah, the next time I seen him, which was at another event, he ended up saying, that you were trying to um, make her look bad and pretending that she was in a homeless shelter and all this stuff.
That is interesting because we've seen multiple videos of her talking about how she was in a homeless
I'm
shelter.
actually in a homeless shelter right
Exactly. I
now,
seen it
like
on her
trying to get a
Facebook
crib.
Live
So
myself.
Oh my god.
And I told him that too.
Now, he talked about a lot of ring. You went through Catherine stuff. Did he say anything about maybe Karen Ashley, Steve
Yeah,
Cardenas?
he called Karen a scammer
What?
and said, yeah, said he was involved with the order.
Uh-huh.
And then he ended up backing out of it because he didn't like the way things were being ran and it was getting too sketchy. But
Really?
but then he defended it on the other hand, saying that it was SAG that caused the whole thing to shut down and it wasn't Karen's fault.
Well, I think we know why SAG intervened when people were offered, I believe, what $1,000 for a SAG membership.
Right.
Um, that's what I think. That's the reason why they shut them down. But there was no
Yeah.
mention of that when she just blamed it on SAG.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's what he ended up doing was, saying that was all SAG.
Now, what about like? Did he ever mention anything about like Austin St. John?
Oh, he this time called him a fraud martial artist and just a complete fake, which
God.
is true.
Oh shit. So he just spilled the beans to you about pretty much every Power
Oh
Ranger.
yeah, Steve Cardenas he called a horn dog and said you could see pictures of his penis on the internet.
God.
And then
Oh my
I had told him
God.
about hearing Steve was pleasuring himself at a convention, and he said, "Oh no, that's not true. He would never do that. But he's a horn dog, and he tries to sleep with everybody."
Oh well, yeah. There has been, um, I guess, people coming forward with Steve Cardenas stories.
Yeah,
Um,
which he ended up the one that you covered where Steve tried to get with the guy's wife.
uh huh.
When I seen Blake the next time, he said that wasn't true. That the guy offered her to him.
Oh,
So that wasn't Steve's fault. Steve didn't do anything wrong there.
okay. Steve didn't do any. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to hit their word against his now, I guess.
Yeah.
Um
The only ones though that he didn't speak bad about was Jason Narvi and Paul Schreier, who I was also there riding working with those guys. And then he also didn't say anything bad about Johnny Bosch. But he contradicted himself about Johnny Bosch a couple times.
wait.
Yeah,
Not
he
Johnny
he
Young Bosch. Like he goaded in the industry.
yeah.
What
Yeah,
what
he spoke very highly of him, but then he said, he lived across the street from him. And
okay.
then the next time he said he lived around the corner from him. Then I heard him telling a couple other people that Johnny used to live nearby.
Okay. So nothing
So
negative
but
though about Johnny Young Bosch.
no, he was so good about Johnny. Like spoke very highly. Though I heard elsewhere that um, they're not a fan of each other, or or Johnny's not a fan of him per se.
Really? Why would Johnny not be a fan of Blake? I mean, for his like so
That I
many
don't
different
know. That
reasons.
But I've heard from a couple promoters that Johnny always asks to not be next to Blake at any events, which when I seen them together at an event, their tables were completely separated, like by a huge floor. I mean,
I
you could still see the other one's table, but
mhm.
he would get irritated about that. I think because Johnny's line was huge.
Yeah, I imagine. I can't imagine a lot of people going to see Blake. Now, with Blake not having huge lines, was he making like lots of money at these conventions?
At least the first one where I was working with him, he was getting very upset because he wasn't selling anything. Like he ended up telling me on the way back to the airport that he had only made $1,000 for the weekend,
Wow.
and it was the problem was he wanted to blame the promoters,
Hmm.
which I was one of the people that helped give out flyers. So I know there was plenty of promotion out there,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that there wasn't people at the show. Yeah, maybe it was a little slower than usual, but actual, ticket sales were about on par with what they've been previously. But I would see the people go up to his table. He would tell them a price that would be crazy, and they would walk away.
Really? I wonder what the price was.
On the Morphers, I believe it was 200 at that show, and that was with his autograph. But then he was making everybody a deal for 160.
Wow. I mean, that
Yeah,
160
which
price tag is
yeah,
pretty
which
tough.
that's what he told me the deal would be too.
160.
Yeah, and he told my friend that goes to a lot of the conventions with me that he'd do a deal for him for 160 when I heard him telling that all day.
Oh man. Wow. Okay. All right.
So,
Now,
but yeah, he ended up. That was on Saturday, and the show was a 2 day show.
mhm.
So that Saturday, and I think I sent you the text messages on some of this. He, we were supposed to. The show opened at 10 for VIP, but the promoters asked for everybody to be there a little early. And then since I was a couple of the other guys riding, they didn't get in till late. They wanted to get down there early so they could set up. And I texted him and no response.
Okay.
And then he says he just woke up and he could be ready by like 9:30. He didn't think the show opened till 10.
Mm,
And I said, "Well, they want us, down there beforehand. For one thing, you don't really want to be going in with a crowd of people and stuff."
this is true.
So he's like, "Well, I'm already set up and I'll be down there." So I ended up had to take those guys down, come back and get him, and he came down around 10:15 that day.
Yeah.
So we get there, everything seemed to go good. Then I forgot to mention too, when we went out to the restaurant that night, he asked on the way back to the hotel, asked me to stop at the liquor store for him.
Really?
So yeah, he ran in, got him a bottle of Crown,
Crown.
and we were all gonna hang out that night. I wasn't feeling real great. I had been having some GI issues, and so the other people that were supposed to get with us, they were pretty well tied up with some other stuff that took place. So we didn't end up going out. Well, he tells me that morning that he ended up, staying in his room that night and drinking that whole bottle of Crown.
That's funny.
And he ordered DoorDash, and they dropped it off at his door. He ordered it around midnight. He thinks that it got there around 2, but he fell asleep, so he didn't find it for a couple of hours.
Now, he also he told you some information or shared with you some information regarding myself.
Oh, absolutely.
What was this like? What was this
That
like?
that was weird because you and I have always gotten along good,
Right?
and he's trying to tell me that the stuff with you is AI, which at that event he didn't say a whole lot on that regard,
Okay.
but like he was late the next morning even because he said he didn't stay out too much, but he was like an hour late getting to the show.
Right?
But it was the next event that I seen him at where he kept going on and on about you. But in text in between times, he wanted to get you for defamation of character.
Yeah, I think you sent me here we go. Right here his text to you that he is about to da 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 I'm about to send him a defamation of character. He's about to be sued.
Yeah, yeah.
text
Because when we
message.
were at the restaurant that night, he said that he was getting your information to find out where you live,
Okay.
and then afterwards, he said he had people that already knew that information, and then in the text, he's like, "I need Henry's info," because I told him he lived in Atlanta.
Yeah, I saw you running some cover from me, man. I appreciate that. But I think
Yeah,
someone tipped him off on my real name, and
yeah,
the rest is history.
yeah.
Um,
So I told him your name was Matthew, even though I was pretty confident it wasn't. But
but
at the same time, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt on all of it too.
hmm
That
um,
maybe some stuff was taken out of context or whatever.
uh-huh, sure. But then he ended up showing you like a picture of my family.
Yes,
Um, what was that like when you saw that?
it shocked me because he told me that he had a private investigator to find your information.
Yeah, I see where you say. I heard his real name is Matthew.
Yeah. And he has this private investigator, he claims. Well, then he ends up telling me, and I can't remember if it was in the text or outside of it, that he ended up running a reverse face scan. That's how he found your information.
Yeah, I don't know about you doing a reverse face scan to that links to my personal name.
Right.
But like I said,
Yeah, he said it came up to a Facebook page with you when he did the facial recognition.
oh maybe it could have.
And he
Um,
showed me a picture, and I think that was in person, a picture of a Facebook page with your first name on it.
yeah, yes, it was a picture of me and my daughter, and then I
Yeah.
had to change it once I realized he was like copying it and disseminating it to like Rican Ranger and all these other and probably
Right.
anyone else who has an issue with me. Now, when you
Yeah.
saw him at that convention and you were talking to him, you said he had like a paper in his hand or something.
Well, he had his phone, and he pulled up where he had a sheet with your full name, your address, your work name or work address, and he said it was your social security number.
Wow, he has my social security number, huh?
Yeah, he said that was all from court docs.
Oh, so he got my court docs. Okay.
Yeah, but
Um,
I don't think a court doc would have somebody's social security number on it.
I'm not sure. Maybe the divorce. I
Not
can't
ones that
remember.
that people could legally get. I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think at all, but I don't know. When people are desperate, never underestimate the depths they'll go out of sheer desperation. To, I guess he was trying to find like some dirt on me to 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 throw me under the bus publicly. But I think the biggest thing he got was that I actually have a career outside of
Right.
doing YouTube.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, what was that?
Yeah.
What was
Because
that?
and
Go ahead.
that it was interesting because there was a lot of other people around, not at his table. Only a few came up here and there to his table, but like the line next to him, which was some voice actor. I'm not quite sure who it was at that convention. That was in Alabama. There was a whole line of people, and he's showing this information on you in front of everybody. My friend was with me side by side. He's seen it.
That's wild. Now, what about Rican Ranger? Did he ever confirm talking to that guy?
Yes, he and I didn't know it was Rican at the time because he called him Alex. He said some guy named Alex reached out to him, and he showed me messages
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
And but he showed him real quick, so I didn't really get to see the context. But he said, the guy was helping him take you down.
Yeah, yeah. I guess helping me take me down. I guess is what
Which,
their goal is.
yeah, supposedly there's a bunch of Rangers that have all teamed up with him for it.
Oh, are they going to post my personal information too, or what can I expect?
The lawsuit is the way I understood it. They're going to come after you with a lawsuit
Okay. Well, I guess we'll be
for the defamation. I think it was.
for defamation. I wonder what the defamatory statement or statements is
Yeah,
that I made.
I
Um,
don't know. He said you've been doxing him for a year, so
You know what? I think he considers doxing showing communication with the people he has communicated with.
Right.
You know, like I think he considers that doxing, not
But if they
necessarily.
send it to you, that's
Yeah, like
their
this
conversation.
exactly. And I don't think he likes that. But then he said this the conversations were AI, so it's just like, which one is it? Are you getting doxxed or the conversations are AI?
Right. Well, and then some of them, you know how he said he had the T-shirt deal.
Yeah.
Well, he then turned around at that convention and said that he never had a T-shirt deal. That he had hired a media guy to run his stuff, and the guy got him a bunch of new followers, but he was started sending people messages telling him about this T-shirt deal and taking money from him. So he had to let him go.
Yeah, but it's so odd that the money that was sent was like to his personal PayPal.
Right.
So it's like, oh, the t-shirt guy is funneling money to your PayPal. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, he's probably going to say you're lying. What would you say to him saying that you're lying about all this stuff that he told you?
Well, for one, I've got, copies of everything. I've got witnesses
Mm-hmm.
that I'm actually trying to get come on your show. Like when he goes out and tries to bash you publicly in front of other people and not think about the consequences,
Yeah.
which he's bashing the promoters and everybody too. So
What is he saying about the promoters?
that they didn't promote the show, so it's their fault he didn't make money, and
Yeah.
and it's always on them. He showed up, and that's he's wanting guarantee. He don't call it a guarantee for
He wants
his
an ap- he
appearances.
wants appearance fees.
Yes, which he didn't originally have one of those. Like when I seen him in Louisiana, he said he did. Told me he did that because the promoter was a friend of his.
Right.
Well, I knew for a fact that he asked for that show. He had worked with these people before,
Yeah.
and he loved the city of New Orleans. And then afterwards, he wanted a guarantee since he didn't make enough.
Yeah. Now, are you still in communication with Blake Foster?
I believe he blocked me. I can still see his Instagram posts, but like on text, he used to be showing online.
Yeah.
And since we talked on the 4th, I believe it was, I haven't heard from him. And then I tried sending him a couple texts and it just bounced back.
Now, what was the conversation like on the 4th?
It was about Francis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
Uh,
about Francis?
about her going to New York Comic Con. And she didn't, he said she didn't have anything on him, so he wasn't worried about it.
Oh, oh, okay. So, but he was definitely not at the booth when she was circling like a shark. Um,
Right.
I think that's interesting. Is there anything else you want to add? What about a message to Blake Foster?
Dude, quit drinking. I think that's really what's getting you into the mess that you're in. Because, I mean, he was always cool until that alcohol would come into play, and then it's like you get stupid.
Yeah, I mean, mouthing off about all the other Power Rangers privately while publicly admiring them, I think that's some disingenuous behavior.
Right. Like he
Uh,
contradicted himself about Austin St. John at the second convention because he was getting ready to do a show with him. And he said what a
oh,
good guy Austin was now.
so all of a sudden,
And and that scam or he embellishes his stories a little bit, but he's a good guy because he couldn't believe that I didn't like him.
yeah,
And same with Sky. He said how great she was and that you were trying to ruin her after before he bashed her.
yeah. I mean, Sky just got outed for taking advantage of a Jason David Frank fan with lupus.
Yeah,
Such
and it
a
ain't
great,
the first time.
It's not. It's not. And she'll continue to be at convention. Same as Blake Foster. Um,
Because the thing with that is, I knew JDF in 2010, and he and I were in fairly regular touch, mostly through email.
mhm.
And at that time, I was a big active member of Ranger Board,
Yeah.
and I remember going on there one day, and these two people that claimed to be his kids selling autographs from him.
Oh, yeah. Sky is notorious for. I mean, she'll be selling JDF
Yeah,
autographs until she, until she's no longer here. As she's
right.
always had
And
as one or four left or something left. DM if interested. Now she got certificates of authentication. Um,
yeah, I emailed JDF that when I seen him, and then come to find out that he did have kids, because I didn't know he did at
yeah.
that point,
Well,
other
look,
than Jenna.
I hate to
And
cut it
so,
short, but I gotta go. I'm
no
hoping you
worries.
come back for the live stream though.
I will do my best.
All right, man. You have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye bye.